this edition of the Crabtree Chronicle. Moving off of current events and politics and looking at housing. I saw an article in Fitz News yesterday backing up what Mark French and I talked about on the program. Says the housing recovery is officially over. So everyone's calling it. They're saying this because the Builder Confidence Index came out and it was horrible from January. Buildings down 16%. Housing starts anyway, down 16% in the month of January. A big plummet, the biggest one in 3 years. So the question is was 2013 not only a recovery year, but the last of a boom year? And are we now facing a downtrend in housing and stocks? Wall Street shaky at best this year. And there's the report that George Soros is putting $1.3 billion against the S&P 500. Not a position that's uncommon for him, hedging his bets. And of course, a lot of people in the industry, housing that is, back to that subject, a lot of people in the housing industry are saying, well, the weather was so bad in January, that's why we had a downturn. So in order to figure out who's right, who's wrong, Fitz News, they want to call it over. The housing business, the builders want to say, it was just the weather, no sweat. We have to look for building permits. That means people pulled permits to start construction. That in January down 5.4%, and I would argue that has very little to do with the weather, because at that point you would either already have the contract or you would already have the need to build a home, and you'd still pull the permit to build the house while things are slow and the weather's bad, even if you couldn't do it. So the truth is somewhere between that 5 and 16% number. I think the fact is that 2013 was a great year for a lot of reasons. We had a lot of ground to make up. I mean, recovery might be a little strong. Growth wasn't really in the picture. And we expected 2014 to be a continuation of the type of momentum, both in housing and in the stock market, that we saw in 2013. And thus far, it doesn't appear to be stacking up that way. Number one reason, Dodd-Frank. I know you're tired of hearing me talk about, but what Dodd-Frank has done to you is unbelievable. It's hurting you at the banking level. It's hurting you in getting that raise or that promotion. Your employer can't source and resource the funds they need from the bank so that they can expand their business and put investment into their business. So they have to manage on cash flow. We're all facing that at the business level to some extent, and that affects everyone that's an entrepreneur, a small business owner, even big business owners, and particularly all of their employees. And until we get a good idea of what this Dodd-Frank thing means in the financial industry, we're going to continue to bump along questioning, are we going up or going down? The Brian Crabtree Show is 8 to 10 every weekday on WQSC.